Morning! So, it's been a few days since I've done my last vlog, and the reason for that is that I've been pretty busy. I've actually just been creating the accompanying website, which is now up at digital-nomad-x.com, so check that out. But yeah, I'm going to try and get back into the swing of these videos. So today's topic is cost of living in Chiang Mai. It's by far the most asked question, so I thought I would spend the next couple of days documenting how much everything costs, starting with this apartment. And it's the same one that I've been in for the last couple of weeks. The total price for this place is £80, plus £6 for the internet and a small amount for the electricity. I haven't had a bill for this yet, but I suspect it's going to be no more than £20, although I am running it a lot at a cool temperature. £80 for this apartment a month is pretty good for any gauge, really. But I'm only going to stay here for another 2 weeks, and I'm not going to renew my monthly contract. The reason for that is, first of all, it's a little bit out of town. You still can walk, but you've got to cross the superhighway, and really, if you want to go and do anything, get a coffee, get some water, get any kind of food, you've got to get on the bike. And while that is fun, the funness is wearing off a little bit, and sometimes it's just nice to walk, particularly in the evenings when it's a bit cooler. The second reason is the dogs around here. During the day, they are pretty docile, and all they do is sleep, but there are hundreds of them. During the night, walking back, because I have been trying not to drink drive, which I was doing for a couple of nights, but reading on some of the expat vlogs or forums, getting caught drinking driving over here is a regrettable thing indeed. There are even talks about people spending, a couple of nights in an actual Thai prison with ankle chains and irons and all that medieval stuff. So I'd be walking. But anyway, a few nights ago, walking back home at 3 AM, those docile dogs turn into just ferocious, savage animals. I was attacked by 2 different groups of dogs. The first, probably less aggressive, maybe only chased me for a few hundred meters, but the second group, it was about maybe 11, 12 dogs, and very quickly surrounded me, barking, chasing me in flip-flops for, it must have been nearly a mile. Really scary, and I do suspect that some of those dogs could easily have had rabies. So, but other than that, it is great. I just don't like the distance, and I don't like the savage animals that are around here. Moving on, motorbike hire. As I discussed in a few blogs ago, this was pretty cheap too, £40 a month. I don't know how that compares to the UK, but yeah, I mean, vital machine really. Okay, so that's breakfast done. As far as breakfast go, that was not great, and it's quite a typical Thai version of the English breakfast with a massively processed sausage, eggs and bacon, and a bit of salad. But it was only 68 baht, which is about £1.15, and ridiculously cheap. Came with a croissant, really nice fresh juice, and a latte. So I would have preferred to go somewhere a little bit better, but it is just next door to the place I'm staying in, and yeah, in full, so that's the main thing. Now I'm going to go to a coffee shop called Yellow Mango and have another coffee and do a bit more work. Next up we have coffee. This is actually a pretty expensive coffee as far as they go in Chiang Mai, because it was 85 baht, which is about £1.50, but it's a big one, and the latte art is great. Wi-Fi for 30 days, 300 baht, which is just under £6. Really nice beef burger, 69 baht, which is about £1.10. So if you were to pretty much have anything on this menu, all of the food is about 150 baht, whether or not you're going for curries or noodles, anything with meat. And you know, that's £3 for a meal in a restaurant. So I just got back to my bike and the front tyre was completely flat, a puncture basically, and I've just got the mechanic to come out and fix it, and there was a small nail in the wheel. I'm not totally convinced that it was an accident, but oh well. Anyway, to get the mechanic to come out was 140 baht, and I gave him 200, a 60 baht tip, so that's like £4 to have a mechanic come to your hotel and repair the wheel. Now, if that was in the UK, I don't even think that a mechanic would come out. You'd have to find some way to get the bike down there to the garage, and you know, you'd be looking at £20–30 easily. So yeah, 10 times cheaper for that, and he fixed it on a Sunday, which is excellent. I'm now going to visit a new client. They're miles away really. They are in Chiang Mai, but they're on the very edge. So I've got a 40-minute drive on the motorway, but they've got to do it really. You know, there's enough money from this one meeting to, well, live in my apartment for about 3 months, so well worth doing. Yeah. What could well have been a very lucrative 2 hours marketing consultancy ended up being a 6-hour stressful whole thing. But it's done now, and I'm back in the apartment. So basically I got hopelessly lost. It is really, really difficult to navigate here. This place was miles away. You know, at least 30 kilometers out of the city, and it's incredibly difficult to use Google Maps, mainly for the fact that it's so hard to find what is a road and what is a driveway to someone's farm. I don't know why I thought that I wouldn't get lost, because every single time that I've tried to go anywhere for the first time, it's taken me 2, if not 3 times as long. Anyway. So after that, I had a very quick dinner at one of my favourite restaurants. Had a beef curry with rice and a large beer. Now that came to 230 baht, which is just less than £5. However, 110 baht of that, which is about £2 of the total £5 bill, was the large beer that I had. So if you were to just drink a water, which would be about 10 baht, which is just a negligible amount, few pence, you could have had that for £2, £2.50, maybe £3 at the most, because I am averaging up with currency rates. My calculations are basically 50 baht to the pound, whereas actually they're much higher at 56, which is over 10%. If you were to be here on a budget, let's say of around £500 or £600 a month, it is more than doable, and the only change you'd have to make would probably be eating in restaurants less, even though you probably could do. You'd also have to stop drinking alcohol really, because one bottle of beer is going to be the equivalent of the entire day's food. So there will need to be cutbacks, but you can live here on next to nothing. So it is the next day here in Thailand, and it was quite late by the time I got to sleep last night, mainly because I got so lost. But yeah, I feel a bit better today, and I'm just going to go around and try and document some more prices. Although I tend to have covered really what I spend my money on, which is just rent, internet, motorbike hire and food. Bowls of salad and healthy things for maybe £1.25, £1.30. Hair treatment in what looks like quite a fancy salon, maybe ranging from £8. Some of the bleaching, £20. You could of course get your hair done much cheaper. I think the average price is probably about £4. I personally cut my own hair, as you can probably tell, so Haven't been to a hairdresser's in years. But £4 is... And here we have 7-Eleven, which are literally everywhere. So bottles of water, 12 baht, which is about 20p. Cans of Coke, slightly higher at 14 baht. And toothpaste, again, 20-25 pence. The one thing that does cost a fair amount of money is the beer. This is working out at £1 a bottle. I don't know how much one of these ones will be, but I definitely want one. So there you have it, the cost of living in Chiang Mai, and certainly my cost of living. As I said, I only really spend money on rent, which is £80 a month, food, maybe £7 to £10, a couple of pounds on beer a night, and a negligible amount on water, electricity, and Wi-Fi. I'm probably spending here about £750 a month, but I'm really not sure. I'm definitely not spending £1,000. I'll probably go to the bank once a week and take out, £100, £150, and I'm certainly not feeling like I'm spending enough to really check how much of my budget I am spending. In fact, every day I'm seeing a huge amount of growth in the bank account, which is fantastic. So if there is anything else that people would like me to cover, I'll definitely make a video on it, but as I say, this is just pretty much what I spend. The things that I won't make a video about are Tiger Kingdom and elephant rides, mainly because I think it's really cruel on the animals, and I don't want to support that in any way. And now it's time for lunch. I really fancy a curry, but there's no surprise there. Probably going to go and try and have something a bit different actually. I've not eaten enough noodles, so I might go for that. But there's so much choice here, too much choice really. It's often difficult to make a decision. But I'm absolutely starving, so I'll probably go to the first place I can see. Well, that was delicious. I did go for a curry in the end because I couldn't resist and lacked willpower, but really, really nice. And the total cost of that was about £3. So now I need to go to a coffee shop, do a bit of work, and pay off the food.